Sorry, I was going to be on the water today, but my hand slipped. Mrs. D brought it up for me. Welcome back to Combe TV, guys. Dilly, it's so good to catch up with you again. Previewing, of course, the Combe Countdown on Bank Holiday Monday. How cool is that we've got that coming on? We've got a great array of guests for tonight's show. Keep the comments, the questions, and everything else coming in because you know it's all about the interaction, and it started already. So let's catch up with those that have messaged. First comment that came in, Henry Moore Racing. Hello all. Looking forward to a great day of racing on Monday. See you there. See you there, mate. Is that Henry Moore as in Ed Moore's son, who apparently is like a real dab hand in the sim world? Apparently, if it is. Evening, mate. Look forward to seeing you out on the circuit one day. James Harvey, hello, mate. And he says, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you out in the Boxster in the GTs. It'd be good to see you there, mate. Gerald Howe, one of our Orange Army. Good evening, everybody. Evening, mate. Good to hear from you. Paul Waite says, good luck, Jez. So there you go, Jez. You got one of your fans there already, mate. Yeah, he's giving you the thumbs up, Paul. So he's seen that. He's down in my green room. We'll be on in a minute. Evening, Mike. Good to hear from you, mate. Sorry that I missed you on the last show, but evening all, excited for Monday. I don't blame you, mate. It is a cracking looking timetable for it, isn't it? Another one of our Orange Army. Evening all from Chris Rea. Stuart Tinker Taylor. Good evening, Chris, and all the Castle Coombe family and friends. Looking forward to a great day's racing from a camp softcore fan and fuffer lover. He does love his Formula Fords. Good to hear from you, mate. Good to see you back on the show, Stuart. Tim Perry, another one of our Orange Army. Evening all, dilly dilly. Oh, if you insist, mate. Mind you, I've just seen Nate Sutton's having a bit of a cheeky can there as well. Oh, and Pete is as well. Good man. I just, I didn't want to be on my own, so I'm glad to see that. Hope everyone is well. I'm very well, Tim. I hope you are as well, mate. Thank you. Castle Coombe Circuit says, good evening, everyone. Big shout out to all who tested today. Every weather condition in the book thrown at them. They are, Pete, you asked about that, the weather. The answer is all of the above by the looks of that one. So well done. Henry confirms, yeah, it is, mate. Good man. Great to hear from you. Your mum and dad are absolute Castle Coombe institutions. And I know your dad's really proud of all your sim racing exploits. And it does look really impressive, mate. So I can't wait to see you in the real world as well. Another one for Jez. Neil Collins says, Jez Williams for the win. There you go, mate. You got, he's giving the big fist pump to that one. Lewis Bird, hello, mate. Evening, everyone. Looking forward to another great race day. Agreed, mate. Totally agree. Our very own M's there as well. With a glass of red French on the go, I trust, M. You got to make sure. You got to keep up traditions. I'm keeping up my traditions. Keep the gin flowing. You keep the French red flowing. Our very own Kat as well, Kat Dalocco. She was going to be on the show almost as a co-host, but we ended up with quite a few guests. And bless her, she's been sort of run ragged somewhat during the course of today and this week, really leading up to the event, as you can expect. James Harvey says, weather looking good for Monday currently. Keeping those fingers crossed. I agree, mate, although there's a few that might actually prefer it the other way round. I'm not sure, but I prefer it if it's going to be some decent weather. Jamie Peters Ennis, hello, mate. Evening all. Hope all is well. Sadly missing this one. I have gone down with a nasty bout of flu. Oh, dude, sorry to hear that, mate. You get well soon, buddy, and you take it steady. Listen in on TSL and keep me abreast of any things that you know, because you're always helpful with that. Dave Luck, look forward to Monday. Dave, I missed you at the British Motor Show. I think you said you were going to be there. Now, I say I miss you. Did you wear the Dilly Dilly T-shirt? Because I spotted someone in the crowd of the motorsport arena with a Dilly Dilly T-shirt. But then as I was about to say something in a break on the mic, they were gone. So I have no idea. But I suddenly wondered after whether that was you. I don't even know whether you have one of those. But it was just a possibility that I was trying to work out who it was. This is the family. Tim Perry says, oh no, Jamie, hope you get better soon. We agree, mate. Jake Olden, hello, mate. Pushing hard for the hot hatches. Evening all, says Jake. Keep going, mate. Great to see you. Emma confirms French red on the go. Goes without saying. Good. Old man didn't listen to my plea for wall-to-wall sunshine. We don't know yet, Em. It might be Monday. I know it wasn't for today, but, we'll wait and see. Dave Luck says that was me, mate. So there you go. I did see you in the crowd while I was in the middle of bits and pieces, and I was about to say something, but you'd gone, and I thought I won't. You should have hung around, mate. I'd have had a bit of a giggle with you, but good to see you from afar. Anyway, it was a good event, the British Motor Show. I was exhausted 4 days in that arena. I was just running on fumes on the Sunday, I tell you. Another one of our officials, Keith Rain. Good evening to everyone. Looking forward to Monday. I guess you'll be down in the pit lane again, mate. Keep up the great work. Thanks, buddy. Goose, one of our Quarry Hardcore, quick fleeting watchers out and about. Best of luck to Ben Hayward as his first race in the Mark Sutton race. Okay. Ben Hayward's going to be in it. Glad to hear that one. He's one of the Quarry Hardcores, wasn't he? So he's actually out racing, and that is his first race, full stop, ever. Or has he done any other bits and pieces elsewhere or on two wheels? I think he likes bikes, doesn't he? But that's one of the Quarry Hardcore. Chris Middleton says, unfortunately, I can't join you in person, but I'll be following the action and shouting my support for Jez. Another one for you, Jez. Have you paid everyone tonight or something, mate? Yeah, he's put his thumbs up. No, thumbs down he hasn't. Who I haven't seen for a few years. So Chris Middleton's missing you there, mate. Rob Jones, the Radstock Rocket. Evening to you, buddy. Good to hear from you. Kat says, Fab Day testing or good vibes for Monday. And yes, you messaged me and it sounded like it went quite well, even if it was a little bit of a challenge. Matt Coyle has messaged me saying there's an extra award for the Mark Sutton race. I don't know what that is. He's put a little flower, so maybe Matt's bringing something from his horticultural expertise. Who knows? Nath, do you know anything about that? No, he doesn't. So even Nath doesn't know about that one. But there we go. Alfie Sutton says, good luck, Dad. Come on, the Suttons. See, you've paid a few to come in now, Nath. Don't shake your head like that. Don't be all humble on me now, Nath. Here's another one. Melusia says, good luck, Nathan Sutton, 26. So there you go. Goose confirms, yes, it is Hayward's first race ever. That's really cool. I'll go easy on him then on the commentary. Tim Perry says, I'll be on post 1 or on the rostrum flagging for the day. Oh, okay, mate. So I'll probably see you then during the course of the day. I'll be in the main commentary box overlooking the start-finish straight. We've got Ian Salmon over at Old Paddock and Josh Barrett doing the interviews. Mike Good, evening all. Roll on Monday. Let's hope for some sun. So there you go. He wants some sun. Nate Sutton's just shaking his head to that. Those two are like thick as thieves. They're together at the hip, those two. And I've been seeing his posts. He's got some developments on that car. Warn him, Nath, that you tried developments on your car and look how that went. He's now got 6 months of hell ahead of him, doesn't he? That's how that one normally works from how I look at it. There we go. Emma says Bender's track days on 2 and 4 wheels. Go boy. See, I thought I was right that he loved the 2 wheels, Ben Hayward. So looking forward to that, mate. And it would be great to see you out there doing that. And the Radstock Rocket says Ben is a regular bike track day rider at Combe. So that'll be cool. And Matt Coyle, he is, as well as messaging me, he is on here. Evening all, can't wait. What a privilege to be able to help out with the Mark Sutton race. I agree, Matt. It really is one of our 2020 champion and one of the gents of the paddock. And we're going to be joined by his son, Nathan Sutton, who, of course, races in the Saloons himself. In the famous car, is still in the famous livery as well. So we're going to catch up on the great man himself from someone who knew him better than any of us will have done. And it'll be lovely to catch up with that. And in fairness, I knew that you would be. Hi, Caroline. Evening all. Go Suttons. I know it's going to be an emotional one, but I think hopefully that we're able to talk about it now. And because we got to remember the guy. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. And it'll be lovely to remember him. The Badger, Bill Brockbank, see you all on Monday in the OG Badger wagon. Did I see that it isn't all white now, Bill? I think I saw some black bodywork appearing back on it, so it is going Badger again. Goose says the dynamic triple commentary team. Thank you, mate. Yeah, we'll have some good fun. Right, I'm going to stop there because we've got lots of guests that I want to speak to. I was going to start with JB, James Beckett, but he's disappeared off of my feed again at the minute, so we'll get him back on in a minute, in which case the man I'm going to start with is one of our visiting championships, the Clubmans, the prototypes, some of the fastest things that I get to commentate on around the country. Absolutely incredible bang for your buck for these cars. We haven't seen them, I'm pretty sure, at Castle Combe for quite a few years, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy this. We're going to bring out the coordinator, Pete Richings. Evening, Pete.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I saw you take that deep breath there just as that you knew you were going to be speaking next.
Well, it's good to keep breathing, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I have heard, yes, it does work better. We were just chatting beforehand. The last time that we actually spoke face-to-face, I've commentated on your amazing championship lots of times this year, and I tend to most years. But we actually we enjoyed breakfast together before heading off to Snetterton at a lovely B&B that I frequent over there.
We did indeed. It's going back a few years, isn't it? I can't remember how many, but it's a few years ago.
It will have been. I mean, my heart says 2, but it probably is longer than that, isn't it? How long have you stopped
I reckon
racing?
it's 3.
You reckon? Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. But yeah, and I think we were sort of like waxing lyrical about Clubmans. For those who don't know, what is a Clubman?
Well, it's one of the oldest categories in the country, so I'm amazed that people don't know about it, because next year is going to be the 60th anniversary of Clubmans racing. It's the second oldest category in the UK, I believe. To upset Mr. Beckett, it's even older than Formula Ford, of course, because it started in 1965, and Formula Ford didn't get going until 67. So we predate it by a couple of years.
You've won that trophy then, yeah. Definitely.
it's a really great category. They're front-engined sports racing cars. Most people will know what a Malik is, I expect. It started back in 65, really, with things like Lotus 7s, because they were just, those cars were racing with sports and GTs then, quite expensive cars like Ferraris and Cobras, and they were sort of embarrassing them. So it was thought we better get these blokes a category on their own. So they sort of invented Clubmans back in 65, and it's been going ever since, and just got stronger and stronger. And there was a time when Clubmans cars and Formula 3 cars, I'm talking about in the 70s now, were pretty much on a par with each other for lap times. But on Monday, you're going to see Clubmans cars being pretty quick round Castle Combe. We've got no lap record there because we haven't been to Castle Combe since 1998, before the chicanes went in.
Really? Because I saw a class that seemed to suggest a 2011 lap
You
record.
saw the classic Clubmans.
Ah, okay, fine. That makes sense.
Clubmans Register hasn't been there since 1998.
I knew, hence I said at the beginning, I was like convinced that it'd been a long time, but then that anomaly threw me on that one.
So we're really looking forward to being back. One or two of our guys have tested there. One or two have actually raced there a few weeks ago in the Norman Lackford Trophy, and I've had really good feedback about the place. Ben Malik, who raced in that Norman Lackford, said it was really great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really quick. So Ben was going round in about 1:06. Michelle Hayward's tested there, done a similar time. So we're going to be quicker than that on Monday if it's dry. Yeah,
no, and it really was really quick. He was up there racing with the other class sport prototypes as well, sort of actually competing with Ben Malik. And I love that Ben Malik story, because we asked the question if he was related to the Maliks, and he said yes, but from about 70 years ago or something, and it kind of went that way. So it's very, very, very distant, apparently.
Extremely distant. But of course, he's also related to Guy Woodward, who's a very well-known racer and Clubmans racer and local to Castle Combe. Guy's his father-in-law.
Which he didn't know until that race the other week or the other month or whatever it was. That the car that he's racing, Ben's racing now, used to be Guy's car, and neither of them actually knew that initially.
Well, I didn't know that either. That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Because both he and my fellow commentator Clive Woodward both used to race the Maliks. Race the Clubmans, and it's always been one of those ones for me. It's kind of like a Bermuda Triangle. Once you get in there, people stay for a very, very long time. What was the figure you told me for you, Pete? I know you've retired and sold the car from Clubmans, but you raced for how many years?
Well, I raced in total for 51 seasons non-stop. Over 40 of those were in Clubmans.
Incredible. It just keeps you, because I guess I used the phrase earlier, Pete, bang for your buck.
It is. It is. It's very quick for the amount of money you have to spend. I've said it before, and I cannot understand why people spend so much money to go so slowly when they can come into Clubmans and be really quick and not spend a fortune. So some of the cars you're going to be seeing on Monday, they're not brand new. One is, but they're not brand new, and they don't go out of date, and they're still quick. And so the person leading our sort of CSP1 class, Clive Wood, who has been racing Clubmans cars for a good many years, and his car was probably first built in, let me think, early 1980s. I mean, you wouldn't know it to look at it because it looks absolutely immaculate.
Yeah.
The overall leader of our championship, which is in our CSP2 class, Will Freeman, just 21 years old, driving his father's Ardmore. That was originally built in the 80s by Crichton Brown of McLaren fame.
Oh, wow.
Off. And so, these cars are winning races, leading the championship. They're not brand new. They're obviously well maintained. But unlike some categories where you have to have a brand new car to be competitive, then you don't in Clubmans. And it's quick. It's going to be one of the quickest races on Monday, I suspect.
I think you're right. Absolutely. I'm trying to remember now. What was the phrase with regards to the Clubmans? Wasn't it that you could almost build your own car and go racing back in the original?
Well, when when Arthur Mallock first built, he called it a U2 back then.
That's it.
And it was
because you too could build this.
And it's the time. I mean, you're too young to remember, but back then there was Charles Atlas was advertising chest expanders. You too could have a body like mine. And Arthur Mallock said, "You too could have a car like mine."
No, exactly. And that I knew there was something in there. I couldn't quite remember what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that Will Freeman's leading the championship. He's just dominated, hasn't he?
He has a perfect score. He has had pole, win, and fastest lap in every event this year. And this is only his second season racing.
No, really?
He started last year, finished second in class in the championship. And this is his second year. Never sat in a car before. He's polished it a lot, but for his dad, his dad knows he's a retired racing driver now. Because now Will's racing it, and he's just so quick. But he's going to have a little challenge on Monday because Mike Evans, the chairman of the Clubmans Register, who's also been racing for a good long time, has entered the car that he and his daughter have been sharing. So we'll see if Mike Evans can give him a challenge on Monday.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. A year of challenges. I've always said one of my favorite cars, and it seems to be a bit Marmite. I love Steve Collier's car because that's such a unique look to that. But he's had a challenging year, hasn't he, with a few issues. I think I covered you guys your first rounds at Silverstone. And he got going fine, but he really had to work hard for that one.
You're absolutely right. But what I would say is that I've not seen Steve go so quickly in Clubmans as he has done this year. So, and he's done a lot of work on that car, as you've seen. He styled the car to look a bit like an LMP car. He's gone out on a bit of a limb here, but it seems to be working really well. So, given a bit of luck, given a bit of reliability, I think we could see him really sort of challenge for the front end.
I agree. But the big one is Clive Wood, Steve Dickens. They've been going at it. Ben Mallock turns up with some experience of the circuit, having raced the other week. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a duel, isn't it?
It's going to be. But don't discount Michelle Haywood, who I would say is the quickest woman driver in the country. But a lot of people don't recognise it. She's driving Tom Commander's Phantom. She was testing down at Combe a couple of weeks ago, going pretty quickly. They've been doing a lot of work on the car. They've had some help from Chris Greville-Smith, who was the original constructor of Phantom. So watch out for Michelle. She had a win at Donington earlier this year. But also, Alex Champkin, who is the current constructor of Phantom cars, is going to be rolling out a brand new one on Monday. He was testing it at Combe today. I don't know how it went yet. I've not heard. Brand new, not turned a wheel until today. He's not done that to just tool around at the back and sort of. He's done that because he wants to be right up the front and challenging the existing front runners. He's a past champion on a few occasions, so it's going to be a pretty close event at the front.
It really is, and as we both already said, is crazy quick without question. In the CSPB, we've got Barry Webb, Tom Muirhead, Mike Upton, etc. in the top three in that. For the uninitiated, we've got 4 classes: CSP1, CSP2, CSPA, and CSPB. Are you able to simply explain the difference between those?
Yeah, sure. CSPA is our quickest class. That's for cars with engines up to 200 horsepower. They've got to be car derived or motorcycle derived. Okay. So we've got some cars with with K-series engines, some cars with Ford engines, some cars with the Vauxhall engines, but we've also got cars with Hayabusa engines. So
wow.
So it allows some real varieties. This is not a one-make series. It's not even a one-engine series. So it still allows plenty of engineering and ingenuity. So that's the CSP1 class. They're the quickest ones. CSP2 is the class that uses a sealed, basically standard 1.6 K-series engine, giving about 130 horsepower. It's been the mainstay of Clubmans really since 1996 when we introduced that engine. It's a great formula. It provides really quick cars, really close racing, and very economical. CSPA is the old classic A class. So these are cars built before 1980 with the 1.7 Ford Crossflow engine. And then CSPB is the old, again, classic with the Formula Ford engine.
Okay, fine. That's nicely, succinctly, easy for me to say, describe that one. I mean, and you're a good chunk into it. You started Silverstone. I was with you guys there. Donington Park in May. I'm trying to remember. There was at least one of these that I was with you, but I can't remember which one. Donington in May, Snetterton 300 at the beginning of June, Brands Hatch GP circuit at the end of June. After this, I'm covering you at this one as well because that's 4 Power Live, isn't it? The 14th, 15th.
Yeah, we're 4 Power Live, and then we get 2 races at Alton Park at the end of September on the 28th.
That's not a bad way to round it out, is it? Up there,
pretty good. Pretty nice season, and but once again, we are. It's great to be at Castle Combe as our sort of visit. We do it with MSVR, as you know, but it's great to be visiting Castle Combe. MSVR encouraged us to do this. Really, they like us to go and visit other circuits. So we're really looking forward to it. And it's great to be back at Combe after 20, 25, 26 years.
Yeah, which is crazy, isn't it? Considering the popularity of both of the sides of that, really, with Castle Combe and with Clubmans. I think
let's hope it's not that long again.
No, well, quite. And of course, the history that's there in both the circuit and the championship, I think it makes an awful lot of sense to do it. Yeah. In fact, there was a lovely picture that that was shared with me. Let me just try to. I'm doing this live now, but hopefully I'll be able to get away with this one. That showed 50 years ago to the day on Monday. So it's the same date that we had the likes of Brian Preble winning a race. As well, which the regulars will know, certainly know that name without question. And I'm just opening it up here. Let me just bring it up. And it was the front of the program. Right, here we go. Yeah. I'm going to drag this here, and I'm going to share this screen in a second. This proves that I'm doing it live now, doesn't it? Because it's not the slickest part of the show that I've done, but it's worth it because I just loved seeing this. Where am I going? That one there. Let's share that and put it up on the screen. I mean, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That is the Skoda.
Yeah, I remember it well. Yeah.
Yeah. 20 pence for a program.
What a rip-off.
Yeah. Monday, the 26th of August, 1974. Yeah. 50 years ago to the day. I wasn't even born then. I know that'll upset a few people, me saying that, but I wasn't even born at that point. Crikey, I don't think Jez's parents were even born at that point. I guess for a little bit later, but
just to make you feel better, I was racing an MG Midget in Motorsports that year.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing. I don't know if anybody saw it. I shared a post earlier this week as well that was someone put up about watching the racing. I can't remember when it was, but again, it was photos similar to this. And the spectators were just behind hay bales, just off the circuit edge.
Yeah, I did. I saw that picture. That was from way back in the 50s, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just incredible, isn't it? But I mean, I just love that. We had some big names. Marcus Pye's going to talk about it when we preview the Autumn Classic a little bit more. He may even manage to get an interview with someone from that day in the can. And yeah, he told me that apparently even Brian Preble, and of course, we now cheer on his sons racing at Castle Combe. Both have won countless races and championships, etc. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very, very special. So 50 years to the day, the exact date.
That is great, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, exactly. And Mike Cotton confirmed, because he did see it. Thanks, Mike. 1954 was the image that I shared. So you were right, Pete. Well done, mate. You got that spot on. I think that kind of sums up everything. It gives us a bit of an insight into the cars, into the championships. We got an idea of some of the key drivers that are racing. In essence, Pete, strap ourselves in. We're going to enjoy the Clubmans whipping around the Castle Combe circuit.
I really hope so.
We will. There's no question. It's going to be so quick. I genuinely can't wait. Hopefully see you at the circuit, Pete.
Yeah, I'll come and see you. Definitely.
Fabulous. Come on up to the commentary box. I will wander in the morning as well, because we don't go live till the racing. But
sure.
But either way, come on up to the commentary box.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Great.
Okay, cool. Chris.
Pete, thank you so much for joining us, mate. I appreciate it. All the best.
All the best. See ya. Cheers.
You. So that was Pete Richings from the Clubmans. Thank you very much for joining. Gives you an idea. Get ready for that one. He referred to having the one-upmanship that the Clubmans came just a little bit before the Formula Fords. But I tell you what, I'm going to bring out a guy that still constantly, proudly bangs the drum about Formula Fords. I think to all of us, he is Mr. Formula Ford. He is the one that puts on, for me, certainly without question, the best event in Formula Fords. To many people, myself included, actually one of the best events in the calendar every year, and that is the Walter Hayes. We're going to be blessed with him bringing his championship, the United Formula Ford, which has pretty much become now the National Formula Ford Championship. And you're delighted to see few challenges for the championship this year, but James Beckett is our next guest, and he is just an absolute champion of Formula Fords. So let's welcome him on for a chat. Mr. B.
Mr. Dawes, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you, mate. You kept having me worried because your camera wasn't on. Then you disappeared, and I was like going, you're having trouble, aren't you?
I had slight technical troubles, but anyway, you don't need to know. We're here.
No, fingers crossed it will work, yes. I love that picture behind you as well. That's a cool
this
photo.
one, that's to actually cover up all the mess in the room behind. But yeah, this is a particular favourite taken by young Jacob Ebury of Neil Cunningham in action in the Walter Hayes. So he's sliding my old Van Diemen around at Silverstone there back in the day.
I love this is that, well, first of all, Tim Perry, by the way, just Pete knows, he says, thanks, Pete, see you Monday. It's one of our Orange Army. But Tim also says, the Fuffer man himself, welcome to Combe TV. I can't believe it's taken this long to get you on here, James, to be honest with you, because you and I chat the length and breadth of the country at many race meetings, don't we? And you know that I'm a huge fan, not just supporter, but fan of all the work that you do, because you know how much I love Formula Ford racing. It is always entertaining racing. You're guaranteed an exciting race with Formula Fords.
Well, it is. And we'll talk about Castle Combe. This is Castle Combe TV. It's a great venue for Formula Ford, and it has been, and it's the longest standing Formula Ford championship in the country. And every Combe meeting, the Combe faithful get a great dose of Formula Ford action. I mean, those who've stood on the bank, and you can all pick out your own individual favourites from the years past, whether it be I remember Richard Davis standing up in the commentary box when I first went to Combe, and it was Gavin and Kevin and Kevin and Gavin, and we got Kevin Mills is out this weekend in the Castle Combe race. Gavin Wills was out earlier in the year in another Formula Ford race. So these people can't let Formula Ford go, and that is why I think it's so endearing to so many people.
I agree 100%. I noticed again, somebody else was saying, I forget what, I think it was when Toka have launched their new junior thing, and they're going, they really need, and I'm going to be controversial now, JB. They need to lower the age that they can start in Formula Ford. And I say Formula Ford is a vital step to career racing drivers, because they learn mechanical grip before they jump into wings and slicks. But why can't they start quite as early as we see in other formulae?
Well, there are many reasons. One of which being that the Formula Ford chassis is a space frame chassis. And currently FIA regulations dictate or suggest that at a junior age, you should start in either a dedicated junior category, which is Ginetta Juniors or the new Toka Junior Championship. Before you graduate at 16, you can drive a Formula Ford 1600, but bearing in mind you can race these other cars from 13 years onwards. So there are many arguments as to why it should be allowed. There are technicalities that prevent it. Discussions always take place. I, for one, but many others in the category and in other levels at clubs have spoken with Motorsport UK and who have spoken to the FIA. So you never say never. But Formula Ford, if you have to wait until you're 16 before you get in, you've karted, you've junior raced in other categories. But Formula Ford does, as you rightly say, give you that great ability to develop that mechanical grip, work with an engineer, drive a car, H-gate gearbox, a tried and tested package, and can really teach a driver so much that they can carry on in their career in whichever way that takes them.
Yeah, because you don't get to rely on the car at all in Formula Ford. It's just wrapped around you, basically. And I remember, I don't know if you remember a driver that was in, well, he came down to compete in the National. I was at Alton Park, and Kieran Haggerty, a Scottish young man, came down, and he was very young. He was being supported at the time by Dario Franchitti, who brought a car down to the National Formula Ford Championship, as was then, at Alton Park. They were competing in the Scottish Formula 4, but they brought the car down for this one. He'd never been south of the border. He was new to racing at the moment, and he absolutely blew the regulars away over both races at Alton Park, including one of the races had to contend with 2 safety car restarts, which is not something you're born with knowing how to do. Let's not kid ourselves. And I made the comment saying, watch out for this name. This is a special talent we're watching. Sadly, funds have kind of meant that he's still involved in the automotive industry, but not where I'd like to see him. But the reason why I'm saying is that he went on from there to go into, I don't remember what it was then, Formula 4, Formula 3. We know it's been various changes, but he went into wings and slicks. And he was at Snetterton, and I was commentating on this, and they were all out on slicks, and it started raining halfway through, and everybody else was either struggling or full-blown falling off, and he just came through the whole field because of the mechanical grip he learned in Formula Ford. He didn't need the same level of adhesion that everybody else was relying on.
It's very true. I mean, I think one name that stands out in my memory of stepping up and racing competitively in Formula Ford, and this is a particular Castle Combe story, was when Andrew Kirkcaldy was doing Formula Ford, and he turned up at Castle Combe and really cleared off against the locals and in the main championship that day. And he, again, was somebody who learned an awful lot with Formula Ford and went on and had a fine career in Formula 3 and GTs and class wins at Le Mans and things like that. So, yeah, I'm a great advocate of getting people into Formula Ford. It's good for the category. It's an enthusiast category. So whether you're 16 or 75 or more, maybe, who knows, that you can get out there and race a Formula Ford week in, week out. And there are just so many races up and down the country, more or less every weekend, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Unfortunately, there's date clashes and these things happen, but it does give you a chance to get in and drive a car against people maybe your own age.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm at Castle Combe circuit tomorrow hosting the racing school, and of course one of the great things with the racing school is that you actually get to go in and drive a Formula Ford, so it's an accessible car for something like that. And I know the people, when they get out of it, just like go, oh my word, that was just incredible to experience that out on your own. It is a great thing. But for those that maybe don't fully understand it, James, is that they might look at it and go, well, I don't understand it. Are they old cars? Are they still being made? Are they still being developed? Where are the Formula Ford cars in their, engineering and manufacturing?
Well, trying to answer all of that, Formula Ford, as you know, and viewers watching tonight and listeners, it started in 1967. And the thing with Formula Ford, it uses a Ford Kent 1600 pushrod engine, and that is synonymous across the whole category. So every Formula Ford out there is using the same engine. So you get a level of equalness to that. So cars have been manufactured since then. So the many types, many manufacturers, tens of hundreds of manufacturers of Formula Ford cars. But yes, you can still go and buy a Formula Ford car. It is powered by the same 1600cc Kent engine. It's a 4-speed H pattern gearbox, and it's and development wise, I don't think as long as Formula Ford is racing, I don't think development will ever stop. Which is where you come to learn so much as the driver with your engineer. Now, development can also over-engineer and maybe make it too technical. And Formula Ford is a very pure, very raw category. And some people have got a lot of ability to develop. Other people will just roll up and still push the car off the back of the trailer, pump their tyres up, pay their entry fee, and more or less go for it. And that must never be lost, because Formula Ford is all about that, but it is also about people having fun, racing together, harmony in the paddock, on and off track, because that is what enables things like the Walter Hayes or the Formula Ford Festival or those end of season meetings to happen, because everybody comes together for a big jamboree. And I'm very keen for Formula Ford to be stable. I'm very keen for Formula Ford to get on with all the groups and all the championships, because it is something very special, and we all love it very much.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said as a commentator, all we do is read the story that's being written for us on the circuit. And things like, and there's a handful of things that I use as just simple examples: Formula Fords, classic minis, legends, you know, Caterhams, things like that, that literally are just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The writing is that good that our job's made easy, frankly, with the excitement of that. And I've always been a purist of loving that kind of. It's the nearest to bike racing, isn't it? The back and forth of bike racing.
It is, and I think Castle Combe in particular has always managed to produce the local circuit hero, and that doesn't happen at circuits that often nowadays. Brands Hatch used to have it with a particular driver. Silverstone, in Formula Ford terminology, had Jim Walsh, who's my own personal motorsport hero, and Castle Combe had their Formula Ford giants, whether it be a Bob Higgins or a Kevin Mills or a Gavin Wills or a Roger Orgy going back in time, or even when Andy Rouse won Formula Ford's races at Castle Combe, or, you know, plenty of people. I know Emma's watching tonight, but her dad Howard had this great knack of creating a local hero who lived within a point of a pair of compass on Castle Combe, draw it round maybe as far as Bristol, certainly no further, or maybe just a little bit down the M5 to bring to Bridgewater, to bring the fishers into it, but and it would create a local hero. So whether it was Formula Ford, whether it was the GTs, whether it was latterly the Saloons, you went to Castle Combe 10 times a year, you bought your program and you cheered on your hero. And Formula Ford delivered that time and time again. You know, young Henry is watching tonight, so his dad. I mean, I stood and watched Ed race wheel to wheel. Then I can't ever say I raced wheel to wheel with Ed, because he was always much quicker than I was. But I was on the same track occasionally. But it was always something very special, and I think that's the what do you call them? The Quarry Massive, is that what you call them? Is that
Quarry Hardcore?
Quarry Hardcore. Well, yeah. You know, they love it, and long may it continue.
I agree 100%. John Creech, photographer and friend to many. Formula Ford Festival at Brands is a great event, one to commentate on, Chris. I would love to. Same as JB knows, I want one year to commentate on the Walter Hayes, but it's out of our control, sadly. With great racing, there's so much history too. And it, like you said, those end of year, and I will bring it back to the Combe event in a second, James, but just quickly to talk about not so much the Formula Ford Festival, that kind of writes its own story, that's fine, that is fairly self-explanatory. Walter Hayes, now I will admit that I was probably about 2 or 3 years into my commentary career, which of course I'd been spectating for many years before that. By the way, Emma says evening, JB.
Hello, Em.
And I was chatting to, I'm pretty sure it was like Richard Higgins in particular, and he's like, "Oh no, are you coming up to that?" And I was like, "Oh no, I wasn't." What? And I didn't appreciate what a deal it was. And it went, "Come along, come on, I got tickets for you." And I think one year you got me a ticket as well. And it's like, "Come along." And I was like, "Well, okay, I'm flat out, but I want to sort of like go and check this out." And so I went along and watched it. It's like a football match. When I was sat in the grandstand, you've got drivers from coming all over the world. For those who do not know, it's always November, and it's drivers from all over the world that test most of the week leading into it. They've then got heats, repechage, semi-finals. Let's give them one more try, all sorts of things, until we then get the semi-finals and the finals on the Sunday. And it just builds to this phenomenal crescendo, doesn't it?
It does, and it's something I'm very proud of. It's the 24th running of it this year, and yes, it is. It is this crescendo. That's a really good analogy for it, because it is something that builds, and it is a bit like the Six Nation, the Cup final, the Ashes, the Open, Wimbledon, of all the sports all rolled together to make that for Formula Ford. And it is, almost a weeks of testing, then racing. And I always tell people on the Sunday, just keep, if you think you're still in the competition or you still want to race, just keep taking your car to the assembly area until we say no, because there is always a way back into the competition. Even if you haven't qualified for the grand final and you're fifth reserve or something, go to the assembly area, because you might get out if there's a restart or somebody else has had a problem. So it does have all of that, and it is something very good for Formula Ford, and it brings a lot of people together, and it also sets people up for the winter, so they can all go off and talk Formula Ford all winter, and then hopefully bring their cars out again the next year.
Well, and it does, because I would say it doesn't matter what championship they're in, whether they're in United Formula Ford, whether they're in Champion of Brands, whether they're in Castle Coombe, whether they're in anything, the historics or anything like that, they will be competing for a championship. And you speak to them and go, "What's your goal?" And it's like, "Right, I'm trying to win this championship or this class in this championship and the Walter Hayes at the end of the year." A lot of people, the festival and the Walter Hayes, because they're literally consecutive weekends, aren't they, normally?
Yeah, they're very close. They have been back to back. This year there's a fortnight between, so that works quite well. It gives people a chance to potentially do both, or potentially repair damage if they've got one from one, or save a bit more money. But
to make it clear, the reason why you put them so close together is that there are people coming from all around the world, so it means that they can come over, both themselves and their car, and compete in both.
Well, that's very true, and it works well like that. And they are also season-ending events. So when people are doing championships and racing in the UK in their prospective championship, or from overseas, or somebody who's had a bad year in a higher category and they're desperate for a CV boost and think they'll do one or the other, and that happens, it enables people to throw it all together for the end of the season. And I've been often asked, why don't you do it in the summer? You could race much later in the evening and we can have summer barbecues, but it wouldn't work. The Walter Hayes is a winter event, and it's got a very autumnal coloured logo, and it traditionally ends in near darkness. But
yes, it does. Yes,
and it really does is a curtain closing event to the season, and that works really well.
I agree. I mean, it is just such a special event, and it's backed up by the fact that in the private chat between all of my guests is that Nathan Sutton says Hayes is the best event in the year. Pete Richings from the Clubmans, Walter Hayes is one of the best meetings of the year. You know, it's kind of backed up that it's just such a good one. You've got quite a cool supporting race this year, haven't you? I've forgotten who it is, but I remember you promoted
we were talking. We just a little while ago we were talking about junior racing. Yeah, I've got the Ginetta Junior Winter Series coming. So so I am doing my bit for juniors who can't drive Formula Ford cars, and it's a great little series. They were at Silverstone last weekend racing on the national circuit, and they had some stunning races there. So a really first class. Somebody said, oh, they were like Formula Ford races of old. Well, they were, but they were current Ginetta Junior style races, and I'm really confident that they'll bring a great added bonus to the weekend, because it will be they're Ford powered, so that's good, and it will just bring a new generation, a new fan base, a paddock enhancement, and enable us to do some bits and pieces at the event that we've all wanted to do previously and haven't been able to achieve. So I think it's really good. And what I must stress is for Formula Ford, just the Formula Ford element is unchanged. So it's not like we've sold out support races and are cutting back the Formula Ford content. That is not it at all. For those trackside, they might have a shorter lunch break, but at that time of the year, I don't think anybody will really mind.
No, exactly. And I love how we get some people for that event that sort of like maybe haven't raced for quite a while. I mean, there's rumours that we may have Johnny Herbert taking part in it this year. We've got a crowd favourite at Combe that suddenly does nothing and then rocks up there with success, Michael Moyers, which always amazes me. He does nothing else and he rocks up there and he's still got it, which is just amazing to see. And we love it. So I'm now steering this back towards you guys all at Castle Combe, is that we have a lot of our drivers go up there and there's always this big support. It does become colloquial, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You said a little while ago about the atmosphere in the grandstand, and the BRDC grandstand at Silverstone, which sits alongside, for those who don't know, it sits alongside the BRDC clubhouse on the inside of Brooklands and offers a view of the end of the Wellington Straight and through Brooklands and Luffield and the complex section before the start finish line. It seats nearly 2,000 people, and it has 2,500 people in it at the Walter Hayes. The atmosphere is great, and it is a football crowd. It's a baying crowd, and everybody has their pockets of favourites. So you've got your Castle Combe fans sitting over there, and you've got your fans from everybody has a champion in that grandstand. So there is real support and oohs and ahs and come ons and woo and you know and words I wouldn't use in front of my mother probably. But that is the atmosphere, and I was very proud last year for the event to win the event of the year in Motorsport News, and previously the atmosphere of the year was the Walter Hayes Trophy grandstand. But that's all. It can only have that atmosphere with the category that's on track, and that's what Formula Ford delivers. And so, steering your own conversation back to Monday, hopefully that the Combe crowd on Monday will have 4 Formula Ford races of good quality, 2 from United, and of course the 2 homegrown races, which has got an excellent entry on Monday. Really impressed with that.
It really does. Yeah, it does. And I'll come on to that in a second, because to be fair to you, we'll cover United Formula Ford first. Leading the championship at the moment, Morgan Quinn on 120 points, Jason Pribble on 97. So Morgan's looking very strong this year.
Morgan's had a very consistent year after a first round incident at Silverstone. He's really put his season together very well. He drives a Van Diemen, he drives for Team Dolan, so he's got good support. His dad David was a former Formula Ford racer and engineers the car, and Morgan's in a good position. So for him, with just rounds left at Castle Combe, the 2 on Monday, we've got 2 at Brands Hatch in September and 2 at Snetterton in October. It's consistency for him, but the way the point structures work, he can't rest on his laurels. So it hopefully with the points layout and the way it provides itself, one non-finish will actually really close the whole thing together. So it's points mean prizes at the moment.
And of course, he was champion 2 years ago, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. So he has some experience of winning the United Formula Ford, which was actually its first year as a championship. So yeah, he was a maiden winner, or obviously in previous guises the races had run previously, but United Formula Ford came together 2 years ago to try and unite Formula Ford. It's not that I support Manchester United.
Your Honour, yeah, I get you. Actually, I've just realised, of course, yeah, you're the 14th of September at Brands Hatch, as is Pete with the Clubmans, and as am I in the commentary box, because that's Full Power Live weekend, isn't it?
Well, excellent. It is indeed, and that for that one, the entry is already really, really strong. And I keep urging people, if they want to make sure of their position on the grid, then they would need to enter sooner rather than later. And that's not me banging my drum. That is me being totally transparent. We're going to fill up. So anybody willing to or wanting to race that day, don't delay.
No, absolutely. So, yeah, that's the overall. But classes-wise, you got historic pre-72s, you got classics, 72 to 81, Heritage 82 to 92, Regional 93 to 98, and Star 99 to 2024.
It covers, it's United Formula Ford to bring everybody together. So there is a class to cover the entire history of Formula Ford. We're not represented in a couple of those classes at Castle Combe on Monday, but the Heritage class leader currently, Klaus-Dieter Hackel, and his teammate Gerhard Hallschulter, they are from Germany. They're making their debut at Castle Combe. They're doing the whole UK Championship. They travel from Germany for every round. If Kat's still watching, she'll testify. They arrived very late last night in Wiltshire, and she kindly helped them out very late into the evening on their arrival. And they are just the type of competitor Formula Ford loves. And they've been rewarded very well with their championship participation, and strong point scoring positions for them this weekend, and they'll set themselves up very nicely in that class.
Brilliant. I mean, that gives everyone an insight into what to expect from this. So it's not just the ones at the front. There'll be plenty else going on in the Heritage class, which presumably won't be at the front of that running field, but the fight will be a bit further back.
Well, exactly. They'll be just a little bit further back, because the Star class, which are the current modern Formula Fords, like the A-class cars at Castle Combe, will be the front runners, of which the majority of the cars are. But there is no shortage of potential race winner, and I think we're set for a couple of really strong races.
Well, Kat, you said that she'd be watching. Delightful Gents was her comment about those two. She definitely loved those guys. Equally, Ben Cox has said, loving competing for United. Can't wait for Monday, which I know that you would appreciate hearing all of that as well. So that's great to see. So that's the United Formula Fords. I hope you don't mind, JB, but I'm going to just quickly swing you to the Castle Combe Formula Fords, which I know isn't yours, but it is a different animal. It is a local championship, but it's still Formula Ford. So I know we've seen you many a time sneak in and be watching all of that as well, because anything Formula Ford, you'll be glued to.
Well, I was probably a late arrival at Combe personally. I didn't make an appearance till 1986 or 7, so I was probably 16 or 17 when Colin, my brother, and I could first venture off in under our own mode of transport. But I've really been an ever present since. So Castle Combe's Formula Ford Championship is something I enjoy. No, I'm not involved with it, but I know most or not all the competitors, and it, as I said earlier, it delivers time and time again. So personally, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It's the championship's in a good position at the moment, and it's it should be something really good to watch.
It will. We got a bumper grid. We've got the usual suspects that are fighting this championship out: Felix Fischer and Luke Cooper. How amazing, though, James, that those two were leading the championship, but until the last race meet, neither of them had a win this year, which is unheard of. And then they both shared out a win apiece over the two races last time. I mean, they're just like a pair of prize fighters, aren't they?
I think that just shows how close everything is and how consistently fast and how consistently quick people are. Keep putting points on the board, and wins circulate around a bit. And I know both are very tried and tested winners, and both have won a lot in the past. And it's really, whether the gloves are on or the gloves are off, depending which style of fighting you want to watch, it's going to be a really exciting end to the season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody back in the paddock again.
100%. So we've got those two there. Alex Walker's been involved with those guys through most of this. Alex Kite's back out again, which would be great to see. We obviously know him from, he used to race the TT in the Saloons, but he's been going really well in the single-seater. I still, there's plenty of others there that, Rob Hall, hopefully he'll be out. He's a past champion, but he damaged his car significantly a while ago, and he's sort of like, it's not quite made it to race day, so we'll wait and see. Rory Smith, of course, a big name in the Medina. Tom Hawkins has been going great well this year as well. Chris Acton, the pilot, he'll be out. Bob Hawkins, he's been looking strong. But Kevin Mills, how cool is this? Kevin Mills is on our entry list again in a Formula Ford.
I know, I saw him a few weeks ago and he said, you know what, I think I'm going to have a go. And I said, Kev, you should. And then I know he's been working really hard to get match fit. And so I'm looking forward to that. As I said a little while ago, it was one of those great names of watching Formula Ford battles around Castle Combe. and when he was in the Swift and going wheel to wheel with Gavin Wills and Alan Cooper and Ed and all those sorts of people, Robin Parsons and people like that, and it's just really good, and I'm pleased he's going to have another go. I think he tested the KMR Sport GB4 car at Pembrey the other day. I think I saw on social media.
Wow.
So he had a little run around in that. So yeah, it'll be good to see, and I'm sure he hasn't, he's saying he's a bit off the pace, but I'm sure he'll still manage to get his elbows out a bit. I'm sure he hasn't lost it. Nobody ever really loses it.
No, exactly. Just thanks, Pete. I know you're just saying that you got to go. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for coming on. We'll see you soon. Because we had Wayne Paul. I commentated on him. He took part up in Alton Park quite a few years ago now. And he keeps getting tempted to come back out again as well. And it's lovely that they've got it. I mean, you watch those guys. They are working so hard running everyone else. I know Nate Sutton works with Wayne Paul as well. Those guys are just so flat out. But as you said, they never lose it. And so to actually see them get back in is great. So look out for that one, everybody. Kevin Mills is back in the car. Nathan Ward has already won the Class B Championship again, which is really impressive to see. And he's got Sean Macklin and Vincent J to compete with. We've got Will Liston out in the Class C. Thomas MacArthur. I mean, there's a name that's been doing National Formula Ford for some time. And he's out racing in our Class C. Yeah,
Tom. Well, he's a previous had good success at the Walter Hayes previously, and he's a very experienced driver and has won loads of races and is very competitive. So again, in a Class C car, will go really well. And I think that is something that we can all enjoy watching, because that run down through Folly into Quarry on the first lap, you get a good start and everybody's right in the mix. So looking forward to that.
No, exactly. Just quickly, Peter Lavender, Richard Earl, Dane Catanzaro's a late entry as well, so that's cool. And Peter Lucas, Class D. We've got a few in Class D this time. Ben Hadfield, Alicia Hamlin. Sometimes she's in Class A, sometimes in Class D. Peter Hannum and Sam Mitchell. Oh, there we go. That'll keep Nathan busy as well. Then Sam Mitchell's out in the Merlin as well, which is lovely. I mean, like you say, it's a bumper-looking grid. I know in yours, by the way, a late entry Tom Radburn's out as well now. He's going to be, as in is out on circuit, not out of the gym.
Yes.
So that's good. Always like to see those additions, which is pretty cool. So in all, JB, it's looking like it's going to be some outstanding Formula Ford racing. 4 of them, and it's going to be close. It's going to be exciting.
It is, and I'm very much looking forward to tripping down to Combe on Monday. I've got a busy weekend at Silverstone Festival for 2 or 3 days beforehand, and then down to Combe on Monday. So it will be. I'll pop up and see you, Mr. Dawes.
Please do, mate. Please do. It'll be so good to catch up with you and see you down there. Mr. Beckett, thank you so much for joining us, mate. I do appreciate it. Thank you for battling through your technical gremlins, and you pulled it off. It was fine. No one would have known if I hadn't grassed you up. Story of your life, really, isn't it, that one? But we shall see you on Monday, mate.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, JB.
Thank you.
So thank you to James Beckett. I know that loads of you are commenting. Emma Brown herself, she's the coordinator of Formula Fords, very late to show. Looking forward to race day. Lots of Formula Fords. And she says, see you Monday, James. Tim Perry says, thanks, Mr. Beckett. See you Monday. Chris Mason, Medic Mason says, evening all, hope you're all well. Looking forward to Monday. Ben Hayward, we are talking about him earlier. He is confirmed. First race on Monday. The terror is real. Awesome testing today. Glad to hear that one, mate. That's brilliant to see. David Vass says, hi, James. Sorry, I'll miss seeing you on Sunday. So he's going to miss you there. And yeah, sorry, guys. Peggy says, evening all, see you on Monday. Ben Pemberton says, how do everyone? Dilly, Mr. Dawes. Currently working at Croft with the Focus Cup, so I'll be rushing down on Sunday to make it home for Combe on Monday. Good man. Glad to hear it. So thank you for the comments, and apologies, I'm being remiss. There's lots. Very quickly, we got 2 more guests, and both of them were in the saloon. So before I move on to that, I'm going to have a quick look at the other 2 championships. I'm going to look one of them, and then I'll look at another one after one of the guests. The first one, we'll look at the Hot Hatch Championship, which Jez nearly was out in as well. That would have put the cat amongst the pigeon, but car's not ready. Is that right, Jez, for the Hot Hatches? Yeah, that's correct. So he's not out in that, but in terms of the entry list for the Hot Hatches, let me just flick to it, see if there's any late additions. So we got Will de Claudio's back out. He had a great first race back. Great to see a past champ back, but problems in the second one. I think he dropped a valve, but he'll be back again. Jason Stack is going great. Julian Fisher, Graham Cox, Dean Clayton, Tom Harris, Corey Webber, Tim Fuchs-Bell, Justin Holloway, all out in Class A. Ray Ferrari Nut Ferguson, Jeff Ryle, Lewis Harwood, Sean Deacon, and James McGregor in his Integra in Class B. Class C, Jez is down on this list at the moment, but that's not going to be the case as far as I'm aware. Jake Olden, Julian Ellison, Adam Wilkes, and Daniel Sajadian in Class C. Class E, the minis, we got Crofton Woodhatch going great guns this year. Erling Jensen, Nathan Nichols, he was due to be out last time. It'd be great to see Big Nath back, but he did pull out. Do you know anything, Nath Sutton, whether he's in there? No, he's not sure. He doesn't know. I wasn't sure. Ben Pemberton, we just heard from, and Max Gray, all out in Class E. Class F, we got Sean Gover, Tony Cooper, Matthew Johnston, Craig Fleming, and Ross Parker, all out in the Hot Hatches. In terms of the championship standings at the moment, it is very, very close. On 85 points, leading Class C, Jake Olden is leading away. 81 for Jason Stack is in second place. And on 76 points, Sean Deacon is leading Class B. So they're the top 3 in the overall standings, and they all score their points in their class, remember. And so that is how it is working. Thanks, Chris. See you Monday to JB says, thank you for that. And Kat just says, yes, Big Nath Nichols is going to be out. So there you go. Brian Baldrick, or Baldrick Brian says, I'm out, still repairing. Sorry to see that, mate. It was so good to see you back out as well. Medic Mason, Joshy says, evening, Dawsey. Evening, Joshy. Hope you're well, young man. Hope you're being a good boy as well, not winding your dad up too much. That's my job, to wind him up. So that's the Hot Hatches. I'll look at the GTs in a minute, but we're going to flick to the saloons. Well, actually, not so much the saloons. It is one of our saloon driver, but we're actually going to flick to a different race. And it is a very emotional race for everybody connected to Castle Combe. It's the Mark Sutton Remembrance Race. And this is remembering our 2020 champion. Thanks, Nate. I was making sure I was getting that right then as I said that one. It all merges into one. I lose track. But he did. He won the championship in 2020, and he's an absolute gentleman. And it's absolutely fitting that we're going to remember this guy. The beauty is we still get to see the car, and we get to see his son out racing. In fact, we get to see the whole family there, Caroline, etc. But Nathan is not only out racing, but he's still racing in his dad's car. So let's bring him out and really remember Mark. Nate, hello, mate. Thank you for your patience, mate. I appreciate it. And by the way, Jez, thank you for your patience as well. I know you're there. We're getting there, mate. We're getting there. There's lots of content. But I think we kind of almost had to wait a little while before we got you on to speak about this remembrance race, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you asked last year, but it was a little bit difficult last year.
Yeah, no, I understand that, mate. I'm sort of not going to shy away from the emotive side, because I think you should be incredibly proud to see the outpouring of emotion for the big man. It just must make you feel incredibly proud to see that love.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, you sort of don't necessarily appreciate what it means to everybody else. Obviously, being your dad means a little bit more, but yeah, just the support through the entry list alone means a lot. It's nice to see that people still want to remember him. So,
no, exactly, and that was one of the key things I said I wanted to speak to you, is that, you know, we didn't know him really, really well. He was someone that I commentated on, and it was great to see him do the championship. But where did that all start for him, first of all? Then I will come to you and how that fed onto you. But how did the motor racing bug start with him?
So he used to do a lot of 12-car navigation rallies with a friend. That then rolled into doing stage rallies. Mainly, he used to co-drive a lot for his friend. And funny, he borrowed his friend's car to do a rally at Cologne Airfield near Bath, and he had no one to sit next to him. So he dragged Mum into the passenger seat, and they were going around all day long, and Mum kept throwing up, and she was really sick. So on Monday,
I'd be the same, Caroline. I'd be the same.
on the Monday, she goes to the hospital, the doctors, and says about it, and it turned out she was pregnant with me. So,
oh, wow.
Been in a car before I was born. So the bug from Dad got passed down very quickly. Grew up in the service paddocks of many a rally, marshalling, helping friends. And then from there, he stopped doing the track days. He stopped doing the rally and started doing some track days. So that's where he then started going to Combe predominantly. And so we started doing track days when I was about 11. So I remember being in year 6 at primary school, and that was the first time I went to Combe. So from the age of 11, so the last 20 years, and 2 or 3 times a year, come down, do the action days, do the track days. And it got a little bit over competitive. He then wanted to go into racing. So I then, at 16, I started at the college. And we got my first year at college, the circuit was, the last racing meet was sponsored by the college. So we got free entry. So we go down and watch, and we're standing there watching it, and stood in the rain to the last lap of the last race, which was like the carnival. And Ed Moore in his Formula 4 driving around, and that's when I then started working for Wayne. And he was sat on the bank the one afternoon with Mum, and just sort of sat there and said, "That looks like good fun, that." So she told him, "Well, you ain't going to do it in a deck chair. You best buy a car then." And that's where the little green and yellow Rover come from. And from there, it's just spiraled well out of control.
Yes, as motorsport has a habit of doing,
yes.
Really, doesn't it?
Yeah, too right. Yeah.
And I mean, he was so unassuming. You know, he wouldn't even. I don't know. He struggled to accept that he won the championship, even, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, because he downplayed it a lot. It was all very much a case of, oh well, you know, I just drove around, you know, didn't. And I think he didn't give himself any credit, because so he was a mechanic by trade. He was in the middle of trying to build a house that Mum's still in the middle of a building site now. He wouldn't give himself any credit. It was a shame in a way, because he was very much just get in it and drive it, which okay, but the hours of making sure it's ready, the engine he built himself, the gearbox he built himself, everything on that car he done himself. And he didn't want to give himself any credit for anything, really. So he's very humble in that sense.
I mean, I love this, is that one of our well-known marshals, Tim Perry, says, "Evening, Nathan. Wonderful to see you and the family are still racing. I'm sure the big man is so proud and smiling down on you all. Keep it up. Love seeing the green and yellow machine out there. You couldn't possibly change that livery, could you?"
No, it's going nowhere. No. It's it will stay that colour till the day it goes. So, well, not that it's going anywhere, but yeah, it will certainly stay that colour.
It has to. It's famous. I mean, I remember there was a period before we sadly lost him, where you were out in a blue Vauxhall Astra as well, weren't you?
Yeah, we don't like to talk about that too much. That's that. So he was building a car, and it was meant to be, you know, I'll build it, I'll race it. And with running his own garage, he never had any time to do anything, so it kind of got a little bit left behind.
Got you.
Which is why he went and bought the MG, and he said to me the one time, "Oh, I might do the Dave Allen race, because I've got the Astra. We'll do the Dave Allen race." And he was going to ask someone else to sit with him, and I just said, "Oh, that's, you know, thanks. Don't worry about me. It's all right."
Yeah.
And He said, well, you ain't got a license, so, and you're lazy, so you ain't going to sort it out. And at the time, we'd just done a track day and broke the car that we were using on the track day. And he said he was going to take the engine out of this track day car and put it into the Astra, and he was going to do this and do that. And I said, well, I've got more chance of a license, and you've got to get in the car running. So the competition at that point sort of started. And he went on and, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, every evening, done a bit. And I got my license, sent him a picture of my license, and I was like, well, I'm waiting for you now then. And the day before the Dave Allen race, I can't remember what year it would have been, maybe 2018, 2019, something there or thereabouts. The day before, so on the Sunday, he sent me a message saying, well, if you come to the workshop, I've just finished the car, you can drive it down to make sure it works and we'll use it tomorrow. I was like, oh, Christ, okay. So he literally finished it the day before, and we went down and drove around all day long and that, and then drove it home. And it was, at that point then, it was just, non-stop from there onwards, really.
That's so cool. That is so cool. I didn't even know most of those bits, and I speak to you plenty. So I mean, that's what this show's all about, is to sort of hear those facts. Matt Coyle, the Saloon Coordinator, Nathan, your old man and family are what Castle Combe is all about. Fix it and send it.
Plenty of fixing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on that, Nathan, it has been since last season, even, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, so Dad died in the March last year. I worked the first meeting of the year for Wayne, and then my license. I had my license for the last few years, and obviously the car was in the workshop. Mum said it's not going anywhere, so you might as well sort everything out and use it. And I just kind of didn't feel right to begin with. And then everyone just sort of said, oh, get on with it, do it. It's there to be used. Like, why have it and not use it? So so from that point onwards, we just like, oh, okay then. So then we've done the Dave Allen race in it, which obviously the car's not able to do a whole race on its own. So that's where me and Mike started to share things around. And then I've done the saloon race, and it's like, okay, so you know, I'm not first qualifying session, I went 1/10 faster than Dad's ever gone, and it's like, okay, so I'm not embarrassing myself. Like, I can drive it and not make a complete idiot of myself. And it went on, and then so we finished last season as the car was, which was however Dad left it. I mean, I never done it, didn't touch the car at all, just changed the oil once and carried on. And we knew for the last few years that the car was a little bit down on spec, not engine wise, but just everything around it. So it still had the original 1.4 gearbox in it, which was, you know, Wilder Claudio said to me, that's made of chocolate, so you want to get rid of that as soon as you can. And it's like, okay, so, and then we're still on standard brakes, and it's just like, well, let's see what we can really do. So over the winter, we pushed on to try and just, you know, changed a few bits to get it to where the other guys are with the same car. Which then meant I missed a few, and we had a few problems with this and a few problems with that. And then hopefully now for Monday, I'm hoping we've finally sorted out all of the horrible, you know, it's the 2P parts that let you down, and it's never a big thing. It's always the silly little things, like, you know, last time out it was a rubber bush that sits in a one mountain with the clutch cable going through it. Just decided it didn't want to stay in there anymore, so that decided to break up and fall out. And it's like, yeah, great. So a lot of help from sister and her boyfriend. He's got access to a lot of good machines at work, so he's managed to make me a few parts. So it's nothing special. It's just what we need just to try and get some reliability, and then hopefully we can have some good racing. So we'll see. Hopefully it will last.
Well, I mean, it was looking good on the last race, to be fair, is because I love the MGZRs just sort of get together and have like this wicked
class of their own.
It is 100%,
yeah.
and it was great seeing you involved in that tussle with them.
Yeah, it was brilliant, because after I can't remember if it was race 1 or race 2, but obviously didn't finish either. But when we got the car back in the paddock, and you look and you're like, so I've managed to actually race, managed to keep with people, managed to have a bit of a battle. And I was never happier to see a stone chip on the front of the car, because I was close enough to people to actually race with them. So it's like, I'm quite happy with that, weirdly. You know, like every other day you don't want to damage anything, but to have it plastered in flies and rubber and stone chips, it's like, yeah, that's quite good actually. I quite like that. So it was nice to see it battle scarred, but for the right reasons.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, just genuinely keep it going. I mean, Tim Perry says, "Go for it, Nathan. Wish you all the best going forward. You can do it." And there you go. Emma Strawford says, "Let's hope the Weather Guardians, Howard, Rodney, Mark, and the rest of them smile down on us all on Monday." And I agree. And what I love is that, as you know, I can't relate to it fully, thankfully, and I hope that continues for a long time yet, that I can't directly relate to it, but I can imagine. And yet you guys are out as a family on race days, and in such wonderful spirit. You know, I always come and chat to you guys and your mum and your sister and you, and it's just a wonderful get together still.
It's brilliant because it is, with me having kids and sister's got kids and mum, you know, I haven't moved far away. I'm only down the road in Gloucester from where mum and sister are, like, but it's just that excuse to get together. Sister's at the workshop with me every time. Like, the car wouldn't be on the track without her. She's an absolute godsend in that sense. And it's just nice to still have a reason to still come, take part, spend all your money and have a smile, isn't it? You know, it's just got to carry on. So
it really, really is. Now, in terms of this, the Mark Sutton Remembrance Race, it looks like I know that we've got an addition that Dylan Popovich is out in his Ginetta as well, which is a great addition to that one.
I was having a look earlier. It's nice. You get the variety of cars, and there's one guy that I saw on the entry list who doesn't race at Combe, but he's got a ZR and he knew Dad from a garage, Ian Dowler. So just to see him, you know, last year he come out, this year again. You know, it's nice to see that little bit of support, which is really nice.
Yes, because I've commented on Ian in the MG Owners Club.
I'm not sure what he races in, but he always comes down. He always says hello, and it's even you know, people that don't normally come to Combe, you know, just to come out for the one-off meeting. You know, I completely understand why we're last race of the day, but to hang around to 6 o'clock at night just to have a go for half an hour, it means a lot, you know.
No, absolutely. So we've got Harrison Chamberlain in his Golf and Day Spiller and his Audi TT. I think they're doing a team event, but like a relay. Ray Ferguson, no surprise, he'll just keep racing. He's still trying to find out how to enter his MGZR in a Formula Ford race, for goodness sake. He'll get there one day. He will. Julian Fisher in his Fiesta, Andy Williams in his Clio, Ian Dowler, as you said, in the MGZR. Another two-driver team, one car, and that's the Watsons, Robert and Ben Watson, the brothers. Obviously, they're Doug Watson's sons that races in the GTs, leading the GT Championship, I think he is. They're out in the Clio X85 Cup RS200. Nate Sutton in an MGZR. Crikey, you know.
Yeah, I've done the entry the other day, and I may have forgot to add that I've got Mr. Good helping me out again, because obviously the car ain't big enough. The car ain't big enough to do a whole race with the fuel tank. So
I did wonder, because you guys know you did the first time, didn't you? I thought as much. So that'll be you and Mike Good, and that'll be a relay. Him and his Corsa, you in the setup. Got you. Jordan Billington out in his Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo, who went so well last time out in the GTs. You know, really getting used to it. Because that's different to his Gallardo that he's been racing, and he really is getting to grips with that car. Keith Johnson out in the Ginetta G50. Wayne Rushworth in his MGZR, which interestingly Ben Hayward has said Waz Rushworth is back in the zone with his mended gearbox and his ex-Martin Chivers MGZR. And again, get well, Martin Chivers. We still miss you, mate. Really good to watch you all nose to tail. I agree.
It's the best fun you can have. It
really is. And obviously get well soon, James Keeping as well. We miss you being at the circuit as well, mate. And we want to see you back, buddy. 171 looks like that's I think that's a two-driver team, Justin Holloway and Ben Hayward that we just heard from there in the Renault Clio. Daniel Rowe in his Fiesta and Stephen Bracegirdle in his Mini JCW. He's another one that will just go in every race if he could as well, isn't he? Because he's part of the Wayne Poole team, isn't he?
Yeah, he's with Wayne,
He just races in absolutely everything he possibly can. So, I mean, in all honesty, mate, that's a good entry. 30 minutes, last race of the day, pit stop, mandatory pit stop, all of that sort of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Oh, I've just had Katz also said that Keith is sharing with
I
Sean
did hear about
D.
that the other day, yeah, in the Janetta.
So that's Keith Johnston. Yes, because he's in effect testing that Janetta as well, isn't he? I believe. Yes,
I was just told the other day that Sean might be with Keith in the Janetta.
Yes.
So.
Thank you for confirming that, Kat. I had heard that, because I think Sean Deacon's been looking at Janettas since Autosport Show, basically. So who knows what he'll do. But it'd be interesting to see on that. In terms of, and this will lead us then on to, from your good self to Jez. Thank you for your patience, Jez. I'll be with you in a moment. Just quickly catching up. Chris Mason says, "Is it gin o'clock yet, mate? I'm on my second glass, buddy. You know that's a safe bet. Mrs. D bought me a refill. It's all good." Chris Ignall, hello Ignall. Sorry, late on parade. Good luck, Nathan, and all those racing. It's a very special race on Monday. Very fondly remember the battles with Mark.
Yeah,
Miss the big man.
Yeah, he always spoke hard. Yeah, I loved his racing with Chris when he first started. They always no matter where they started on the grid, they always seem to find themselves side by side somewhere.
They did. I do remember that well. Justin Holloway just joined. Good evening, mate. We've even just read your name out and you've missed it, and I'm not doing it again. So if you're late and you miss it, on to the saloons quickly, because obviously that is the one where we see you in all the time. We've obviously got Dave Spiller out in the Audi TT. I do need to go back a little bit because Pete Spiller, it's his dad's birthday today. Happy birthday, Pete Spiller. He goes, "Evening, Mr. Dawes, awaiting the performance you promised earlier." Sorry, mate, is that all right? Is that good? Is that good enough for you? So yeah, Dave Spiller's out in the TT. Jack Bolton in the Golf. I think Harrison Chamberlain is a late entry as well with his Golf after the problems he had last time. Bill Brockbank in the Seat. Adam Preble in the Astra. Jonathan Wills, and he did actually, sorry Jonathan, I did miss that earlier. He said, "Hi everyone, testing the Maestro tonight, ready for Monday." Testing it tonight?
Night?
Ask no questions, tell no lies. Yeah, let's not get him in trouble. Where do I get to? Jonathan Wills in the Maestro had a torrid time last meet. Daniel Rowe in the Fiesta. Darren Griffiths in the Clio. Jez Williams will be on in a moment in his Peugeot 106. Yourself. So the MGZRs, Nathan Sutton, James Blake, Oliver Sprague, Lee Waterman, Wayne Rushworth. 5 of you.
Yeah. Best cars on the grid. Keep knocking Rovers, but they keep on going.
100%. I used to cover a lot of the MG Car Club events, and the ZRs, they are seriously good cars to go racing in, is everything I'm told.
Yeah, they are good fun, yeah.
But, it's just that you just congregate. It's brilliant to see. Mike Good, obviously, out in his Corsa, last year's champ. Dan Williams in the Citroen Saxo. Roger Good out in the Fiesta. And then in Class E, this is cool, we got Steve Walden out in his E36 M3. I think he's had problems this year with that car, so it's good to see that Steve Walden's going to be out in that. As far as that Saloon Car Championship goes, leading the way is Nathan Sutton. Oh no, it's not, is it? Sorry, mate. No.
You got the wrong paperwork there.
No, leading the way is, let me just quickly see, because obviously you score the points in your championship. So it is Harrison Chamberlain on 71. On 67, it's Jez Williams, we'll see in a moment, and Mike Good on 61. I mean, you've still then got Darren Griffiths on 52, Lee Waterman on 59, James Blake on 56. I mean, it is seriously close there, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, I'd like to think if we were able to have some reliability and do all the races from the start, just to be able to battle with the other guys in the ZR, that was the main aim of the whole season, was just to be able to actually take our old car and have fun and just try and be reasonably competitive. Nothing special, just like the last meeting, but for the whole year would have been nice.
Well, I mean, and I know you've had challenges with like the gearbox and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not going to mention it again. But working through getting those things sorted and then being involved in those battles that's got to give you this confidence that goes, right, it's been a development year, it's been a issue resolving year, whatever you want to call it. You've then got involved in these battles, and it's like, okay, we're ready for 2025.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, when we broke down on the first race at the last meeting, and I ended up at the first chicane with Wayne, and we both got out and said it's a shame that happened, really, because that was the best fun we've had all year. And it was, you know, me, Wayne, James in the yellow ZR, and the three of us, you know, dicing with each other. It really is good competitive fun, clean racing, good drivers, and you know, some quick times, especially, you know, Lee pushing it on a little bit this year in his car. But
yeah,
the times are really good for the old Rovers, and they keep on going. So yeah,
absolutely, they'll always be there. So a busy day for you on Monday, then, mate.
yeah.
So 2 qualifying, 3
2
races.
qualifying, 3 races. Yeah, for second qualifying and last race. So yeah, it'll be a nice long day.
Yes, yeah, quite, absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't you agree? I mean, you were talking about where your memories go, where you were with your old man. Is that I still remember it wasn't so much my dad; it was the dad of a friend of mine, and I used to go into the paddock and help in inverted commas. But that whole wake up in the morning in that paddock, and the day just kind of dawning, and you're getting the car ready, and then you're building up towards qualifying, and then you're working on stuff ready for the races, and you maybe get to see a little bit, and you're catching up with people you hadn't seen for a while. It's just a cool place to be. It's
great, yeah. So we've got 7 race days a year, but obviously we don't feature on one of them, so we're down to like six days a year. And you see, you know, for me especially, you see Mike and Roger come up. You see them 6 times a year, and it's like you're never away from each other. It's like you know, it's no different if you were down the pub once a week. Like it's a proper family atmosphere. Especially with Mike and Roger this year, the silly little things you've had go wrong. Especially when it comes to race 2, both times I've had the car out this year, I wouldn't have been out if it wasn't for them. You know, helping with ideas and tools and just silly little things that I don't have that they have, and you know, just being able to just carry on because of them. And obviously with the second meeting of the year when Mike let me drive his car, which was slightly crazy, but you know, there's not many people that would just say, well, just drive it and whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's like, oh, okay.
That is cool.
So that was a favour I'd like to repay at some point. So
yeah. I think the biggest favour you can do him is actually give him a van.
Anything at the minute, anything will help him out.
I've never heard anyone spend more on their van that tows their race car than they do on their race car.
It's the wrong way around. You should put the van on the back of the Corsa. It'd be all right.
It sounds it, doesn't it? It really does. We love you, Mike Good. We're only winding you up, mate. We're winding you up. Nathan, bless you, my friend. Your dad will be forever remembered. There's no question about it. And it's great that you're carrying it on. And I always love giving your mum a big hug every time I see her in the paddock and your sister there and everything like that. And it's so cool. Keep it going. And it's great to see it and enjoy not just the saloon race, but obviously the name, the race in memory of your late dad.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be really good.
Well, thank you for your patience, mate. Thank you for coming on. I will see you on Monday, buddy.
Yep. See you later.
Cheers, guys. Right, I'm going to bring him straight out because I know I've carried this on, but these conversations have been wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. And I know Kat's even said, what a wonderful mix. And we're now going to bring something out. We're bringing the age down dramatically now. But there's an awful lot more history than I realized. And I'm going to find out about this from the man himself. It is a really exciting talent that we're seeing in our saloons at the moment. He's over in Wales still at the moment, but he'll be making his way over the bridge and racing with us on Monday. It is Jez Williams. Hello, mate.
You all right?
Yes, I'm good. So sorry we've kept you waiting. I think, I think you'll agree that these conversations have just been wonderful and flowing, in all honesty. So sorry that you've been waiting, buddy. I do really appreciate your patience.
Yeah, it's all right. I've had a small kip anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, first of all, I just said about you coming from the other side of the bridge, and it's great because you don't have to pay either direction anymore, do you? Which is very helpful. Blenarvan, isn't it? You're over Big Pit way.
Yeah, Blaenavon, yeah. I actually work at Big Pit.
I did hear that, and I love that because that was somewhere that I went when I was in school. It was a school trip that we went to Big Pit. I've been with my wife and daughter and my sister because we were staying in a hotel somewhere over near there, and we went and did it, and it's still a great place to go.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but I think my daughter's been with school as well. That is I know we're going off on a weird tangent here, but that is a cool place that really shows some serious history there.
Yeah, pretty much every school goes there, to be honest. Like, even when I was in school, I went there about at least 3-4 times, even though I'm 20 minutes down the road. So it's just nice having the heritage in your hometown, isn't it?
It is. I tell you what, though, the scariest thing they did when I was down there, and it sticks with me to this day, is that they actually make this point. They go down, and we're down in the mines, and they went, right, now understand what it's like when the lights go out. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You don't know darkness until you're down in a mine.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm not a guide up there, so I don't really work underground as much, but I'm usually up on the surface fitting something. So I'm technically a surface fitter, and then part-time underground fitter if they do need it.
Yeah.
So like pipe work, and that's just bits and bobs. Like in the winter, I'll be in the very bottom, the lowest part of the mine, which is the sump, and it's the wettest part as well. So
God,
I'll be in there in the winter. I'd rather be around Combe.
No, exactly, and I acknowledge that was a weird tangent that I just went off to there. And you've had lots of people watching, and apologies everyone that's put comments in cheering on for your man. For example, Ralphie Waite says, go on, Jez, for the win. Well, I don't know whether that's for the Wen, the Welsh, or I don't know. It's for the W. Wish I could be there, mate. And just going to put this one up as well. Ashley Hazel says, looking forward to Monday on Post 4. Bless you. Thank you in advance for all your hard work. Right. There, and I haven't even had a chance to fully digest because it's going to go out in Combe Talk about that there's a lot more history to your racing than people actually realise. Although, how old are you now?
18 now. 18,
and yet you've actually done a fair bit in the racing world.
Yeah, I have to be fair.
Take us back to the start then.
So the very start is I started at, well, it was the Christmas of 2014. I think I had my first go-kart. But before that, I think got to be sort of September time in 2014. And, oh no, not 2014, sorry. 2015. I went to see an old mate of mine, actually seen him today in traffic. So yeah, I went to go to a local kart track called Little Mill to go see him, just, you know, going around the track. And sort of it just kicked off from there. I just enjoyed it that much, even just watching. So I begged my dad for a go-kart for Christmas, and there it started.
Oh, fair shout. Your dad, of course, is always there supporting you, and he's there with his Rhino Goo. I love that name. It's just crazy, isn't it? That's a cleaning product for anyone who's wondering, by the way. Okay, so what age does that make you? When did you get your first go-kart then?
So I was 9 when I first got it, and then I turned 10 about 3 months after.
Okay, so what did you then went and raced it in a particular championship?
No, I went back to that track where I seen my mate for about a year. Just even in the wet, I used to go around on slick tires. A guy called Brent I think he still works there, to be fair. And he just said, "Oh, send Jez out on slicks; they'll make him a better driver," and which it did. So fair play to him.
I've heard that. I think that's what Alonso used to do, is that he would be in the karts and he would stay on slicks in the wet because it meant that he was forcing himself to learn how to control it in the wet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just stayed at that track for about a year, and then, you know, I progressively got better towards the end of the year and sort of said, "Oh, we'll just start IKR racing," which is racing without a license in karting.
Okay.
And after a year or so, we moved to MSA, which is you had to have a license for racing then. And then again, it just grew onwards from there.
Okay, so that was the karting. and I'm just looking at the notes, is that you going up to the likes of PFI.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is one heck of a racetrack, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've been to that track more times than my mum have said my name, to be honest.
Wow. And yeah, that's a long way for you.
Yeah, about 3.5 hours.
Wow. But I mean, that's the real deal, that one, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So did you get involved, and apologies, is that there's a lot of text there and I'm trying not to just read it and ignore you, is that did you go and compete in karting in championships?
Yeah. So my first ever championship was Landau Kart Championship.
Yep.
Which is only an hour down the road. And then the next one we did Clay Pigeon and Dunkswell Championship at the same time. And I think after that year, we went straight into the British Kart Championships in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as doing Clay Pigeon as well. And we still won that.
No, fair shout. And I think, does that mean that you were possibly before the Club 100 thing launched? Because that's helped a lot of people sort of almost fill the gap, I think, wasn't it? So you had to do a big old jump up there. I always remember that Grantley was speaking to me about you before you came over, saying, seriously, look out for this youngster. He's had great success. I think you've been limited by not being born by with a silver spoon in your mouth, and that's it. You know, which is unfortunately a common story in motor racing. But you have always set your heart on going from karting into cars, and at which point did that start happening?
So my first ever time in a car was at Blyton Park when I was 13. So 2019 that was. Yeah, that was my first ever time in a car, which was a Ginetta Junior, which was practicing for the 2019 Ginetta Junior Scholarship.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately didn't win, but I think that was just because of my age. You know, I was so young as well.
Yeah.
So that was my first ever time in a car. The year after, we did quite a bit of testing in F4 when I was 14. And one of my dad's good mate, Chris Pikes, he funded most of that, to be honest, and fair play to him. Lovely man. And he did help us quite a lot.
Oh, fair shout. So at which point did Castle Combe start to come on the radar?
Well, last year. I was supposed to race last season, but we only did one round, and I think we DNF'd our round. And then we couldn't find problems, and, you know, we just wanted to win the championship. So we just thought, oh, we'll just do it next season, which is this season. And so far it's going quite good. So
just a bit. I mean, where did I put it? Where did I put the saloons? No, that's the hot hatch. Let me get the right one. Here we go. So, yes, you are leading Class C. Excuse me, and it's amongst all of the ZRs that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And yet you're out there in a Peugeot 106. I mean, it's a lightning quick car and clearly a blooming quick peddler in yourself. I mean, I think it was news to you, wasn't it? Letting you know that there were some great fights going on behind you.
Yeah, I mean, I have Grant and Josh on the pit wall telling me who's behind and what I'm gaining and what I'm not.
But you're fighting with the classes ahead of you, aren't you? Really, which is incredible. At which point is that going to change? Because you've got to start thinking about the championship now, surely. What I mean by that is that if you suddenly find yourself in a fight with a Class A or a Class B car, you kind of go, actually, there's no point. I'm scoring the points in Class C. That's what matters.
Yeah, 100%. You're right there. But when I am out in front and I've probably got a 5-second gap, I do try and maintain that gap and try not to, you know, go full speed either, because, you know, anything can happen. The engine will damage itself as well if it's constantly flat out. And there's no need if you are maintaining that 5-second gap, which I'm trying to do. So all I need to do is just score consistent points throughout the year, and I think it's decent. But we did have one DNF.
I was about to say race 2 in June. What happened with that one?
So race one, it was all fine. We won that race, I think. Or did I come second? Yeah, won that race. And then going into the second race, we didn't know there was any problems. I didn't feel any problems, and did the outlap, started, did one lap, come round, and I'm not sure what happened, just complete loss of power, but we did manage to find and fix the issue. So,
oh, that's okay. Well, yeah, clearly, because you then got the double victory in the beginning of August one. So, but I was just suddenly looking. Race one of the whole season didn't go to plan either. I mean, what is that? That's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So that didn't go to plan. You followed it up with a victory, by the way, in race number 2, just to make sure I make that point.
I remember. I was. What was I? I think I had a bad start, and I went up to. Might have been camp. I think I went up to camp, went 3 wide, and thought, oh, and then slammed on the brakes, locked up, and just skimmed the barrier. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that will explain why, yes, you only got that position, so 4 points, but you did get a point for fastest lap. So it sort of showed that it was superficial. I mean, you're on 67. Harrison Chamberlain in his Golf is on 71, so he's 4 points ahead of you. However, you saw that he was having problems at the beginning of August. So
yeah. Grant did mention.
Yeah, and he is now entered. He is a late entry in for Monday, but it goes to that's motorsport, isn't it? It can just turn on a dime in an instant.
Anything can happen at any point.
Yeah, and we've seen it many years. I mean, I remember Matt Parr was all ready to win the Saloons in the Peugeot. I don't know if it was actually your car you're driving now, possibly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I thought it was, and it was the last round, and I saw him pull off at the end of the start-finish straight, and that was his championship gone. And I think that really hurt him. In fairness, bless him. But you can't assume anything at all, can you? And you've got to go into this now. We've just got 4 more races to go. 2 on Monday and 2 at the final day.
Yeah.
How are you at 18 years old feeling about all of that now?
I don't know how to sort of describe it really. It's sort of just trying to keep my mind focused, trying not to think of anything bad, or just trying to score consistent points. And looking back of how I did in the races before, it's like, right, you can do this, so it's not impossible. So just keep your mind to it and then do it on the day.
And that was why I was confidently asking that. Was not meaning to put you under pressure there, is that I was almost sort of, you hear a phrase and it's not as detrimental as it sounds, is the arrogance of youth, is a phrase that they use. And it's kind of like you've not been weathered, you've not had the clawbacks, and you're sort of there going, hey, it's fine, I'm enjoying myself, I've done blooming well so far, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. And it's like whether you are completely at peace with yourself or whether there is, I mean, equally is that not just nerves coming in, but actually is that just pure excitement going, this is so cool. I'm involved in a championship fight straight out. First,
I think most of it is excitement. Like I'm not really nervous on the day. Like you are, but you're not. It's very hard to explain at this point.
It's adrenaline, isn't it? It's just adrenaline.
Yeah. But when I'm racing, it's like nothing hits me until you're on that grid. You see the lights. It's like, oh, I'm in a race.
I love it.
Yeah. So you go out and, from my experience as well, I know quite a few of the other boys got even more experience, but with kartcraft as well, it's so much close racing, and quite a few people are dirty in karting, so you just got to watch yourself. And it's sort of I'm used to that now, but you just try to get a good start and get in front of the Class C boys and scrap it out from there.
No, I can get that. That makes sense. What is the longer term goals for Jez Williams then? Obviously you're hoping you're going to secure the championship. It's looking good for you to be, well, I say looking good to be in the top 3, but I was saying to Nathan earlier is that you've got you on 67, you've got last year's champ Mike Good on 61. You've then got Lee Waterman and James Blake both in your class on 59 and 56. I mean, it is still wonderfully close, but it's looking good for not just, hopefully for you, you're hoping to win the championship, but certainly within the top 3, and we'll have a good awards due at the end of the year and all of that.
Looking forward to that, yeah.
And what after this? What's your sort of short, medium term, long term goals?
Ooh. Well, I've always been interested in GT cars, and it's everything to me, you know. Porsches, Ferraris, Ginettas, Lamborghinis, anything you call it GT. It's just, whenever they're out, I'll always say, right, I'll be back. I want to watch them. It's just awesome to watch, and I'd honestly love to drive one. And,
no, I've
never had the chance to, and I don't think I will unless, you know, something happens.
Well, you never know. I mean, I always make this phrase, is that going back quite a few years, you'd ask a driver, you know, what's your goal? And they would go, I want to get to Formula One. I think the majority of kind of don't say that anymore, because it's even with the best skill in the world, it's not a particularly realistic goal, sadly. It's if you want to go single seaters, you're probably better off going IndyCar or something like that these days. Obviously Jeremy Chadwick doing well in the NXT over there, which is great to see, and going to get a test in an IndyCar soon, so that's really cool. Most people's answer is, I want to be a professional racing driver. I want to make my living in the world of motorsport.
By racing,
yeah, correct. And everything that comes with it, that you could be coaching people, you could be doing things at Mercedes-Benz World and all of that sort of stuff. And GT racing is, because I'm very privileged, I get to go and commentate on British GT, GT Cup, Britcar, GT World Challenge, over to the 24-hour series in Europe, all of those kind of things. And what you see a lot of is that, you know, point one car will have anything from 2 to 4 drivers in it, depending on the duration of the race. And quite often you will have, in certain GT championships, you'll have a rich, successful business person that has a car, and they then get a very good pro driver of whatever level it happens to be, that A, helps them to secure success, but B, probably coaching them a little bit as well.
Yeah, a bit of both.
And I see that's where, if you keep getting success, is that's where you could potentially further down the line take yourself, but you just got to keep yourself winning the races, winning the championships, being there, getting seen, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean by, we didn't race last year because we purely wanted to win the championship, and this year's going well so far. So I'm hoping to win the championship and maybe get seen.
You have to do it. And I tell you what, I will just bring this up at the moment, is that many of us will know Tony Bennett. He's a very successful driver in a crazy fast Ginetta in the GT championship. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And his son, John Bennett, he's so proud of his son because he's always updating me on it. John Bennett is been having great success. He's gone single seaters and he's in GB3 and he's looking very hot. And even got the update today that he has been selected as one of the 10 candidates for the Autosport Driver of the Year award. You know, and you've got things like that. And that's sort of like, I remember Tony Bennett asking me for advice on what I've been seeing around the country. And there's no straight, obvious line in motor racing, is there?
No.
You've just got to get out there and keep success and hope that you get seen and hope that you get those opportunities, which is what I will then lead on to my next point, Jez, is you have to, no matter what, even with these goals that could be that, you've got to enjoy what you're doing.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's half the battle with anything, to be honest. Your job, what you do with your life, your hobbies, your passions, anything. You know, if you enjoy it, then you enjoy it. Like, say you get up to work in the morning, it's like, oh, I don't want to go to work. But if you enjoy it, the day goes so much faster and it doesn't feel like work. The same as racing. If you enjoy it that much, it's just anything you can imagine. It's just awesome. The thrill of it. Everyone loves it.
I agree. And what I love is that your dad's always there enjoying the race days as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's usually walking around the track. I won't see him. But when I come in, so...
Well, but he's a fan first and foremost, isn't he? And then suddenly he's a fan of of racing and of you out there racing in it, and he'd just get there. And I do love to catch up with him at the circuits and always buzzing. And Grant clearly felt that there was exciting opportunity with you guys, and it's good that he's got you out there. Well, did you test today?
No, I didn't test it. I was in work.
Fine, no problem. But we finished last round with no problems with the car. 2 wins, 2 fastest laps. So well done. It means that you're going into Monday with some confidence.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, coming from last round, as well as Grant, like, he's awesome mechanic, awesome team boss. Same as Josh, who's my mechanic, Kelsey, all of them boys. They keep their checks and they do their job very well. So I have full trust in the car and full trust in them.
I agree. I love it that we've got Dan Williams in the R53. You only know full speed, Jez. That's a compliment. I'll take that one. Chris Middleton says, great to see you, Jez. Worth waiting for. I know. Sorry, Chris. I know there's a lot of guests today. Good luck on Monday, he says, and loads of people have been rooting for you, which is wonderful to see. Just quickly going to say, Joe Shingler, even though I'm on post 11 Monday, the quiet corner. Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. Fingers crossed. But I will quickly put these up. Darren Griffith says, hi all, roll on Monday. Absolutely, roll on Monday. Tim Fuchs Bell, even though I've been listening, but I had to finish putting the doors back on, ready for Monday. I think that's a good idea, Tim. Definitely get them back on again. So what does your race Monday look like? Do you travel there Sunday or do you travel there Monday morning?
Monday morning, yeah. Yeah, it's only roughly about an hour and 20. So
okay.
It's not, even though it's in Swindon, it's not that far. It's like Landau, even though that's in Wales, is still further than Castle Combe. It's the same as Pembrey as well. Pembrey's 2.5 for us.
And I'll just correct you, it's not Swindon because I live in Swindon and it's 35 minutes towards you. So it's definitely not. It's Chippenham. It's Chippenham is what you meant.
Yeah. All right.
It's all right. Foreign country. I understand the mistake.
Go on. We're over the bridge.
Yeah, well, we used to have to get passports. No, we didn't. That's not true. Listen, mate, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your patience.
No worries.
Very best of luck with the remaining rounds. Keep your head down and enjoy it. And what will be, will be. And you don't know where that's going to go yet, but just enjoy the journey, mate.
Yeah, will do. Thank you, Chris.
No problems, buddy. You take it steady, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see you on my wanders round.
You will, don't worry.
Magic. Thanks, Jez. All the best, mate.
Thank you, Chris.
Cheers, buddy. Right. So I'm going to get this all wrapped up. Thank you to Jez there for his patience waiting. And obviously we had Nathan Sutton, we had James Beckett, and of course we had Pete Richings from the Clubmans. Great to see. Kat says, best of luck to everyone for Monday. Thank you from Carscombe Racing Club for supporting. I agree. Emma Brown says, see everyone Monday. Tim Ferry says, laugh out loud. Geography lesson complete. Cheers, Jez. Best of luck Monday. Well, I couldn't let it go, could I, mate? And you're more than welcome, Jez. Thank you for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it so much. Very quickly, because we haven't covered this one, and I'll do it now, is the GT Championship's the one that we haven't talked about thus far. And leading that championship is actually Keith Butcher. So Keith Butcher is leading it in his stealth black Lamborghini on 31 points. Second on 26 is Doug Wasson in his Ferrari, getting stronger and stronger. But then look at this. 3 drivers on 25 points. Dylan Popovich, Keith Johnston, and Josh Smith. Josh won't be there on Monday. In fact, I don't think he's back this season, sadly, but it just goes to show how close it is. Jamie Sturgis, last year's champion, he sat there on 23 points as well. So Keith Butcher's looking strong. He's got a little bit of a gap there, but the GTs just invariably come down to the final round, don't they? And we'll see whether it's the same again. But Jamie Sturgis, double champion, of course, sat there on 23, is there still nibbling away. In terms of the entry list for the GTs, got some interesting ones. We have got an addition. What was it that we've got? This is wicked to see. Hayden King. Many of you will know Hayden King. Used to race in the Saloon Car Championship, and I think it quite literally is that he's done a lot on that Seat Leon, and it can no longer race in the the saloons. So it's going to be that. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it, mate. I shall see you on Monday, buddy. So yes, he can't race in the saloon, so he's going to be out in the GTs in his Seat Leon in the invitation class at the moment. But in the GTs, we got Dylan Popovich back out in his Ginetta G50, the G55. Great to see this. A good friend of mine, Simon Griffiths, got to know him through the Caterham racing. Simon's going to be back out, and he had a good day out. Where was he? Was it at Alton Park he was at the other day? And he went really well. Doug Watson, of course, is out. Jordan Billington in his Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. He was our driver of the day at the last race meet. The progress from him was amazing, and he's a real supporter of the GT Championship. David Graham, hopefully he'll be out because he had a torrid time last time in the Ginetta G50. Now, interestingly, that I've just suddenly realised Keith Butcher isn't on the entry list at the moment. So this makes the championship even closer. So he was the one that had pulled away on 31. If that stays the case, that's not going to be the way anymore. So he's not in there as it stands. Class B, Keith Johnston, James Harvey coming out in his Porsche Boxster. First time racing at Castle Combe for him, which is amazing because I've commentated on numerous things around the country. Ruben Taylor in his G50, the Silhouette. A Class C car. Angus Fender out in the Ligier JS2R. How cool is that? Really looking forward to seeing that Ligier out. Class D, good to see him back. Tim Bishop in his Caterham 7. That's a very quick car, and we haven't seen him for a while, so it's good to see that. It must be a typo because actually I've got that Keith Butcher is out, but in Class F, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in Class F. So that must be a typo on the entry list. So Keith Butcher is there. It'll still be close, but Keith Butcher is there. In Class E, sorry, Jamie Sturgis. Class F, it says Keith Butcher, but I doubt that's the case. And Nigel Mustel in the Solution F Volvo as well, which hopefully that's going great because that's a crazy, crazy car. Fantastic piece of kit. And Emma sums it up, our very own Emma Strawford. She says, a great eclectic mix of cars. 100%, Emma. It really is. Shame that we've not got the Mosler out this time, but it's cool to see that we've got a number of things there. John Ford says, I'll be there Monday. No one wants to see me. You know, I always do, mate, but I know what you mean because that means you're recovering them, doesn't it? So, Monday, qualifying starts as always at 8:30, the Formula Fords. We then go qualifying through till 11:30. We got 3 races before lunch. We got the Formula Fords, the Castle Combe Formula Fords, the South Cerney Engineering Saloon Car Championship, and the Golf Racing Fuels GT Championship. The grid walk is for our Golf Race Fuels Formula Ford 1600 Championship, and they get their second race after lunch. And I think that's sort of bearing in mind, obviously, the United Formula Fords that are going to be there as well. Then we've got the hot hatches, the Clubmans, the United Formula Ford, South Cerney Engineering Saloon Car Championship, the Golf Racing Fuels GTs, Samco Sport Hot Hatch Championship, Clubmans Register Sports Prototype Championship, United Formula Ford, and then, of course, the big one at the end of the day is the Castle Combe Racing Club Mark Sutton Remembrance Race with the pit stop thrown in as well. That will be rounding out the day's action. Jam-packed, no question about it. I remember that I've got to get there early on the Monday as well because I've got to get up into the commentary box, and at 8:20, BBC Radio Wiltshire are phoning me for a live on-air interview about the race day, promoting all of our races and all of us that are there loving it because they just want to hear all about it. So I shall be up there waxing lyrical about it live on BBC Radio Wiltshire because we're getting to the fighty end of this season. It's crunch time. It's kind of the penultimate race for all of these. Of course, we've actually still got 3 race events to come because we've got the Autumn Classic in the middle there as well. And then we've got Finals Day. But for now, let's enjoy it. Enjoy the weekend until we get to the Monday. But we'll see you bright and breezy as well. Oh, I've just seen Lulu Tupu says, coming from France to visit. We'll be there. Love it. Best track. That's cool, Lulu, because I know you normally comment on YouTube. And it's great that you're going to get over. But from all of us here, thank you so much for joining us. I do apologise it was a long show, but I make no apologies for the content. It was a belter. There's no question about it. Thank you to all of our guests. Have a very enjoyable weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Good night.